remain committed to your vision. Do
Okay.
not disgrace it, even if somebody tells you. Until you yourself lose that confidence, ultimately you tend to do almost the same kind of thing, whether you are into Dell or Cisco, or you are a director for sales, or you are a director for solutions, or a head of consulting business for studies, and then got into a different geography, different countries where I have worked. So I have enjoyed. So I won't say that I need to if I have to restart, I should do something new, because I would like to again. I don't know about others when people used to crib about Mondays, but for me, Mondays were always excited. To be honest, after spending 2 weekends, I always look forward.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplanes.com. I am Gyaneshwari Agrawal and I am conducting a series of interviews with the topmost corporate leaders of the leading company around the globe. For today's interview, we have Mr. Ravinder Pal Singh with us. He is the CEO of Mercado RHA Technology Private Limited. He is a thought leader, startup mentor, and consultant with more than 25 years of experience. So let's get ahead and learn from his journey. Hello, sir. I'm Gyaneshwari Agrawal from Startup Lanes, and we are really very honored to have you on board with us. So,
Thanks.
thank you. So, I would like to request you to please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, hi. My name is Ravinder Pal Singh, and I have been. I'm a technologist. Uh, I've been in this industry for around 26 years now, having worked with different corporates like Cisco, Dell, Wipro for around 25 years. And then 2 years back, I decided to set my own, get into the startup mode. So I have been working with startups for a couple of years now, even when I was with Cisco and Dell. So some part of my role was aligned to startups. So I have been part of multiple startup initiatives, been on board of a couple of startups as a mentor, as a guide. And last 2 years, I have been fully dedicated to this. I'm no longer into a corporate job, but I am on board of a couple of startups. I run a couple of startups as part of their senior management, and between India, Dubai, Middle East, and North America. So I have kind of now dedicated myself to ensure that startups, whatever knowledge I have gained in the last 25, 26 years, I should be able to help these youngsters and startups to grow. And meanwhile, be part of this journey as well.
So, sir, my very first question to you is what inspired you to join this company? Or you can say the venture you are in.
Yeah. So, couple of things. One is after you work 25 years in industry, there are times when you feel that now I should do something different, because I've changed jobs. I have been in different companies, as I said, and in leadership roles. But ultimately, you tend to do almost the same kind of thing. Whether you are into Dell or Cisco, or you are a director for sales, or you are a director for solutions, or a head of consulting business. These are the roles I have done. So somewhere it becomes monotonous after some time, and innovation takes a backseat. So I felt that the best way to innovate is move to a startup. Number one. Number two, emotionally, I get connected with a lot of startups during my journey in Cisco and Dell, and I felt that I should be part of this journey, because what happens when corporates work with startups, there are limitations. So Cisco, for example, will work with startups only when they know that there is some complementing thing they can get, like startups whose solutions can promote networking. Cisco will be more happier to work with them. And that was one point which I felt that no, I need to go beyond this. I need to go, and that was not possible in job. So I decided to move out and get into this mode. So I started a small holding company, my own startup company, and then now I am into at least 6, 7 startups, and I really feel happy about this.
So, sir, what is like your life mantra?
I may not be a great fan of Gandhiji, but I definitely believe in one of his great statements, which is, be the change what you want to see. So rather than waiting for others to, innovate, or others to come and say, I'm doing this, I'm trying to create this, I thought better I should be doing this, or at least I should be part of this journey. It's not that I should sit at back and just guide them. So initially, couple of years, I was more a mentor, a guide. But then I decided that I should be fully into this. That's why I set up my first startup, then got into aligned with another startup, then third startup. So today I'm working with around 17 to 18 startups. And the change which these startups are doing, I want to be part of their journey. And that is one thing, one mantra which I have kind of imbibed in my whole life, that I should not wait for somebody to come and do something. Rather, get into that, try to get into that.
So, as you said, you have a really long experience. So, what was the most challenging part of your journey so far?
Well, there have been different journeys. Like till I was a student, there were different challenges. We all understand. But ever since I got into the corporate world, time to time challenges are there. Working with corporates, and when you start growing, you see those challenges. But if you ask me, what has been the most troublesome period, is I should say is entrepreneurship. Because what happens when you come, especially when you have spent 25 years working in a multinational culture, and then all of a sudden you are 100% into a startup culture, a lot of things change. And believe me, it's not easy for everyone to withstand those changes, whether it is the way you work, whether it is the offices where you go to, or even travel part of it. You no longer have some luxuries, some access to budgets, for example, for your marketing, or development. So you have to manage everything on your own. You have to run around. It's like starting your life once again, believe me. And I started it. Some people started after college. They are youngsters, 20s, in their 20s or 30s. I started when I was almost 47, 48. So this is not easy. So I should say that my most challenging part has been last 2.5 years, ever since I've been 100% into startup mode. And I love this challenge. It's not that I'm complaining. I love this challenge because I know that if I work and I'm able to withstand these challenges for next couple of years and everything gets well, market is back again post-pandemic, then I will not have any regret doing this.
So, when you do all these things, different kinds of things, so
What is that one habit that makes you more productive?
I should tell you as a background that my father was in forces, armed forces, and ever since I was brought up till I did my college, I have been part of that whole culture. Armed forces have a totally different campuses, the way you live, the way you interact. One thing which actually gets into your DNA is punctuality, which I learned from my father, and then I did my engineering from Armed Forces College. So what happened then? Every aspect of your life, punctuality becomes very, very important. In corporate world, punctuality is a very keen thing, but we also hear these phrases like India Standard Time. If your meeting is 12 o'clock, you enter 12:15. All these things. But one thing which I think is my core mantra for success for my teams, people who have worked with me, and even today, is punctuality. Time commitment is very, very critical. If I have to be in a meeting, rather be 2 minutes earlier than 2 minutes late. So that has become part of my life, even personally, also at home also. Sometimes it might create problems with other people saying it doesn't matter if I get 5 minutes here and there. No, I said no. If you ask me 12:30, then I have to be there 12:28 ready and on dot. So that is one thing which I have tried to keep constant, and touch wood, I'm keeping it. I'm managing that even today.
yes, I think everyone should be like this only.
So, if you get a chance to start your career again, so what would you do differently this time?
Well, frankly speaking, I have no regrets because I joined the industry 26 years back when computerization was still at an infancy stage, especially in India, right? So when I joined, people were just buying computers and people were getting into new applications, new softwares and all those kind of things. I'm talking about 1995. So that was before Y2K happened. So I enjoyed every bit of it because at that time, it was like something very unique. let me tell you that I might be the first person from my place who would have joined this industry or been part of this industry, number one. Number two, in my whole family, my generations, I was the first guy who moved out of home for studies and then got into a different geography, different countries where I have worked. So I have enjoyed. So I won't say that I need to, if I have to restart, I should do something new, because I would like to again do this. But of course, there might be some basic things like sometimes I feel that I would have been more into, during college, I was considered as a great programmer, those days, 93, 94, when we were doing Fortran, Pascal, and COBOL. But I was a master of it. But I never did programming in my career, because I started and got into management and then projects and then solutions and like IoTs and smart city development. So I never got into core programming. But maybe one thing which I would say that I would like to, if I have to restart, get in more hands-on into programming and coding, what we say, so that I could myself have created a lot of programs which I ask my team to do it for me now.
Sir, can you share a quote that inspires you the most?
I think I already mentioned it. Be the change what you want to see around you. Don't wait.
Sir, my next question is, what makes you excited about Mondays?
I don't know about others when people used to crib about Mondays, but for me, Mondays were always excited. To be honest, after spending 2 weekends, I always look forward to go back to work. And the best thing about Monday is, if earlier, because now we work 24 hours a day in this startup culture, but earlier, if you have left your role or your work at 5 o'clock on a Friday and you come back on Monday morning, the excitement is what new has happened in last 2 days. When I open my laptop on Monday morning, is there any exciting mail I'm getting, whether it's good or bad, because I believe that even if something has happened bad, I have a chance to do something on that. So Monday mornings, I really feel excited, because last 2 days, whatever has happened in the work environment, maybe there's something which might let me do something new. So I have never seen Mondays and but if I say this, let me be very honest. Last 1 year of pandemic, Mondays or Fridays, there's no distinction, So
Yes.
that I miss. I really miss that Monday morning, pick up my bag, start my car and go to office. I really miss that. But otherwise, Mondays have always been something I look forward to.
Okay. So, according to you, how much self-worth and happiness important in a job?
In fact, whether it is job or any other environment, your personal life, happiness is the most important thing. We learned it a bit late. Let me tell you, Indians especially, we always used to, run after work, because we are a youth, we are a young country, and we have been always on the toes. Like the computer industry came, people started migrating to US and other places, and everybody was busy. And I have been very busy in 26 years. But then, if you look around, and then you realize that no, maybe somewhere we left that happiness part. There was time when it was said that Indians work 24 hours a day. They don't even believe on Saturday, Sundays. But after the last couple of years, people have realized this in India, and even I have tried to change. What you call work-life balance. So now, happiness, self-worth, or families, these have become actually more important, especially during pandemic. So if you ask me today, happiness, your professional success, and your family and self-worth. I think these are the three sides of a triangle. And if any side goes up and down, the triangle will break, So I call it like a triple constraint, what we use in project management. I call it the triple constraint of life: the happiness, the family or self, and your work environment. They have to be I won't say that happiness is more important, because if you're not working and there's nothing, then there are areas which you cannot be very happy about, to be honest.
So, as you said, you have lots of experience. So, can you describe some challenging leadership situation and how you manage people through them?
In fact, there have been examples of this in my previous companies, and I can quote one or two. because there are things which I may not like to share. These are internal company things, but there was one of the biggest projects what we did when I was with Wipro, with Government of India. In fact, one of the first digital transformation projects for the country, which required us to go and set up 200, I think 236 or some number of community IT centers in far-flung areas in Northeast. And believe me, there are places where there are no roads. There are places where you have to trek. And the deadline was that you have to do all within 3 to 4 months. And it was a government-driven, and the project was echoed in Parliament also, let me tell you. So it was a very critical project for government also and for my company. And fortunately for me, I was given the chance to lead this. And the first challenge was, how do you get people, first of all, who are ready to track, go and install computers? It's not that easy, just for few $1,000. But then the only thing I thought will work is you need to set an example. So believe me, in the first 2 months of that project, I personally I would have traveled to at least 30 plus locations, far-flung, in cabs, in buses, in trains, in places in Nagaland, Manipur. I've seen a lot of good places by there. And there are places where you don't have hotels to stay, and you have to stay in some guest house or some temporary ship. But then we did it. And believe me, that project gave a lot of recognition to company also, and to me personally, because within my company, it was hailed that, okay, Ravindra has led something great. And today, when I look back, today we have a lot of facilities. We've got these WhatsApps and remote management. Those days, nothing. The only thing which was upcoming was a pager. And, pager and mobile phones were not even common, to be honest, especially in Northeast. But we did that. And one thing which I learned from that is that for every problem, there is a solution. You just need to know where to hit the nail, number one. The second example I would like to give you is when I was in my previous company, Cisco. And Cisco wanted to get into, now Cisco is a big name in smart cities or smart connected world. But I have seen the initial days when customers won't really like to look at us, because Cisco was a big company, was a leader in networking business. And for every customer, we had to go back and explain him, boss, we are into smart buildings, we are into smart cities, we empower these new age solutions. But then the customers say, oh, no, I have your network, I will come to you for network, but I can't come to you for all this. But we persisted, and that paid off, because between 2010 to 2014, those were some glorious years in Cisco when we did a lot of great consulting work for smart cities and smart connected, what you call digital transformation. And it definitely wasn't easy to change that image and change that branding for that. But I think we managed it.
So, what was the most happiest, saddest, and the most inspirational moment of your life or your career?
Well, there have been many. So, if you ask me from the personal front, of course, you have many happy moments. But if you ask me on the work front, as I mentioned, doing these impossible kind of projects and then getting recognition definitely has been the highlight. When we did that project, which I was mentioning, the highest award we could have got in that company was the President's Award, and I got it. So those days, it was a very happy moment, and I really, really cherish those moments, because one thing which gets you along, you may have left the company, you may have left the role, but people still remember you, and that is happening even today. When I meet some old guys and people introduce old Wipro guys, that has become an introduction. People say, okay, which Ravinder? So they say, oh, Ravinder who did that project. So you get to have, aligned to that. And that's great. That's great. That you feel really happy because you have achieved something. Second thing, what happens when you feel another energetic is when people who are part of your team, and that's a leadership quality for any leader, they become something. So in my last 20 years, first few years, I was an individual contributor, but then when I became a manager and later a director, so there have been a lot of people in my team whom I have groomed, I have mentored, And today they are in good positions. And the great thing is that respect comes. That respect you get. When I started my startup, I actually went back to a couple of those people saying, I need your help. Can you help me in your personal? And they were so happy to help me. They said, yes, why not? Sir, we will like to help you because you have helped us and you have guided us. So team, seeing your people grow and becoming successful is another great feeling. But yeah, there are sad moments. Sad moments are when you see the best of the people you have to let go. Letting go is also part of your life, but sometimes it makes you sad because you have groomed something and all of a sudden then you feel, okay, that's no longer going to be part of this. And another sad moment is when you create something and that doesn't get recognized. See, every product cannot be successful. I agree, personally. But people have to also appreciate efforts. We always say when Tendulkar gets out for zero, we don't say that, Tendulkar got out for zero, he's good for nothing. We always say he put a lot of efforts behind it. Still we lost. Fine. Okay, next match. So same thing should happen in work also. If you create something, now we're in startups. I feel this very sad about when they spend a lot of money, effort, and they create a product and the world says, oh no, this is not good. There's another product in China, better we get that and use it. I feel really bad because we fail to appreciate the efforts behind it. There are people who say, oh, you are only 2 years in a startup and you are valuing your company at a couple of millions. People say 2 years. People see those 2 years. People don't see the 26 years which has gone behind those 2 years, right? So that, when I see, I really feel bad. But then that is part of life, and you have to bear that somewhere.
So you have reached to a position, many people look up to you. So what would be your advice to them to become like you?
See, it's not that I have been the only ideal, because I also have a lot of ideals in the industry, right from people like Azim Premji when I was with Wipro. I really idolized him because he brought Wipro from a vegetable oil company to what Wipro is today. And same with the Infosys guys. Same with the John Chambers of Cisco. He has been he is really inspired. Michael Dell, he is very. So there are a lot of these leaders. So I also look to them. But if I have to tell somebody what to do, so I have only 2 words. I already mentioned one of them. One is be committed. So if I got into a startup mode, many times people tell me, oh, you left your MNC job, you could have been I was a CXO, why don't you go back to corporates and enjoy? Why you are struggling? I said, no, I have committed that I want to create something and I want to help these startups to grow, and I am committed to them. So commitment is one thing, because without commitment, people won't value you, number one. And the second thing is, as I said, is your inherent internal discipline, whether it is punctuality. In my case, it's punctuality, or in some cases they might have honesties and these kind of things, because there are skills you can capture from the market, like language programming. You can capture how to develop a solution, how to develop a new product. These you can learn, but there are inherent skills: time commitment, punctuality, discipline, mannerism, respect for others. So my take, whenever I give this, I'm asked to come and deliver these sessions. My point especially to youngsters, to students, is number one, commitment is very important. If you're committed to something, then till the time you can hold on, be there. And second thing is, be punctual. Have that inherent quality in you, because other qualities you can imbibe, these qualities you cannot. It's not very easy to imbibe these qualities. It has to come inherent.
Yes, I think everyone must learn it.
So, sir, how can a job seeker get a job in your company?
Well, definitely yes. I would I look forward to create something where people can make a career. And last two and a half years, ever since I have been into this, there are many startups I work with, and there are people we hire time to time. Startups may not be hiring too often than big companies. Like when you hear big companies hiring 25,000, 30,000 people, no, we can't do that. But two great things about startups, I am telling everyone, and some people have really got it, is you have option to go and start your career in a big MNC at a very lower level, start of the pyramid when you come out of your college. Say you are an MBA graduate, or you have an option to get into a startup. The beauty about startup is, number one, you learn. I'm not saying you don't learn in MNCs, but happens MNCs won't put you in live work environment from day one, because they don't want you to come and ruin their existing image or brand. So they will put you in some works or back end works for some time until you are good to go in front of the customer. That may take time. Second, you may not be given, in many cases, you will not be given critical work. You may be given some work which is not very critical to the company, but they don't want people. But for startups, they don't have a luxury of too many people. So what startups do and what we have done is we get MBA graduate as a fresher, and after 1 week, we teach him or we guide him and then say, now this is your marketing tool. This is what you have to do. Go ahead and do it. And we monitor that. But what happens in next 1 year, that guy learns a lot. And believe me, he can go and be a successful marketing guy in a big MNC in next 2 years or 3 years. And the guy who would have joined that MNC as a fresher, he might still be at some non-critical work. Most of the time, I'm not saying 100%, but 90%, this is what happens. So job seekers, especially freshers, if you really want to get into these core things and want to be part of this innovation, I think start your career with a startup. That is very, very critical, because that will give you tools, learnings, skills, which is very difficult to gather in other environments. And the best is, when you are doing something, it gets acknowledged. You have done it. You are not one among 1,000. You are one among 3 in a startup.
Yes.
So that's what my mantra to all the job seekers should.
So how can startups offer their products and services to your company?
Yeah, they're more welcome. You can share my email ID. I keep on looking, because, as I said, there are startups whom we have groomed from when they were at an idea stage to now they are in the market and they're getting into multi-million-dollar revenues. There are startups who came to me with a product prototype, and today they are successful companies selling those products. So if you have a product, innovation, or a product which can solve a problem, but not necessarily it can be a IT thing. It can be non-IT also. So please come to us. We love to work with these new startups and take their products to a global scale. That's what we do. So what you can do is you can publish my email ID, which you already have, my official email ID. And most welcome, all these guys, they can always connect back to us.
So, sir, is there anyone you would like to thank you for supporting you in your career?
Oh, there are a lot of people. Some of them I have lost contact. My first job in Bangalore, I would definitely like to say this. Maybe somebody is able to see this. My first job, my first company, when I was from my campus, which I joined, was a company called Nash Soft Systems, which doesn't exist today, but it was a great company at that time, and one of the well-known companies. And we were into data, like what we call data security, antivirus business. And as a technical engineer, I was not aware, because when I came out of college, things were totally different. What we learned in college, I saw that what we use at work is totally different. But there were 2-3 senior guys, and one of the incident I would like to tell you is that Bangalore, where I started my career, is not an easy city. In those days, no metro. It was only buses, and you don't have that big salary that you can use cabs, and there were no Ubers at that time also. So it was kind of like necessary, almost necessary, that you should have some bike, two-wheeler or something. Most of the guys were on two-wheelers, the engineers also, the sales guys also. I didn't have a two-wheeler because I was just fresher, and everybody said that you should have a two-wheeler, otherwise you can't survive. My manager also told me. And then I talked to my parents, and my father, being from Armed Forces, Armed Forces those days, they were not that great middle-class families. They couldn't afford immediately a new bike. So my father said, you have to wait for another month. I will definitely get you a bike. So what do you do now for 1 month? And you have a manager who tells you that if you don't have a bike, then I cannot give you, I was a technical engineer, I can't send you for support. And believe me, there was a guy who offered me his own bike. He said, I have another spare bike. You come. And I lost contact. His name was Mantesh. I don't know where he is. And I still remember his statement when I told him, yeah, no worries. I might find another job if they don't want me here without a bike. And I remember what he told me. He said, Ravinder, this is your first job. And if you have to leave this job because you don't have a bike, you will lose your self-confidence. And once you lose your self-confidence, it's not good. You are a confident guy, and I don't want you to. So I will help you. A totally unknown guy. I never knew him. I'm just 4 days old in the company. And he gave his own spare bike, his brother's bike or somebody, at least for a couple of days until I could. My father called me and said, okay, I'm sending you a money order and you can buy your bike. So I really would like, I don't know where he is today because I lost contact, but there are people like that. There are people who have helped me at every places. And that's why I try to help people, because that's the only way you can repay those things, help somebody else, right?
So,
So, sir, what is your feedback on Startup Lanes?
Well, I have been looking at Startup Lanes for last couple of months now. I've been part of sessions. I've been part of some pitch competitions, pitches I have seen. I think that's a great thing, you guys, because as I also mentioned, helping these youngsters to reach a stage where they can showcase this. You need a platform to startup founders. The only thing, again, as I mentioned, and I want to again tell you, is even if we don't like their product or a solution or idea, we should still appreciate and encourage their effort behind it. We should still tell them, don't worry, you've done a great job. Maybe you need to tweak this a bit. Maybe you need to change it a bit. Rather than, I've seen in some cases some investors saying, well, what you are showing me is waste. No, you should not be, because you don't see the sweat, the blood which that guy would have done and last many, many years to come to that idea. You may not like the idea, fine, but there are ways you should encourage those guys, So that's my mantra. And Startup Lane, I think, is one platform I have been continuously looking at for the last couple of months, and I would look forward to work very closely with you guys.
okay. Thank you for the feedback, sir.
So, sir, nextly, you have to answer the questions in a line. Sir, one tip to success.
Yeah. One tip to success for everybody is remain committed to your vision. Do not disgrace it, even if somebody tells you. Until you yourself lose that confidence, nobody else should be telling you that your vision is not good. Be committed to that.
Okay.
Sir, what is that one mistake that every individual must avoid?
Yeah, don't rush. I've seen a lot of professionals. If they don't get successful in one area, they change the area. They say, I'm not good at solutions, so I should rather go and be a sales guy, because I've seen sales guys can easily work. No job is easy. So, and then you go to sales, and then you see after 3 months, no, it's very difficult to be here, commitments, you have to meet targets. Rather, I go to support. So one thing I've been telling to youngsters and to my teams is, give some time. Even if you fail, give some more time. It should not be that today you start something and next day somebody tells you this is not ready, you throw it off. No, don't rush. Everything requires patience. So be a little patient when you want to create something, a new innovation or some name in the market. You have to wait a little.
So, one most important lesson you have learned so far?
Respect. I have learned it hard way. Let me tell you, even if you are senior, junior, mid layer, you are into the CXO layer, or you are a owner of a startup, or you are an investor also. One thing, the best you can do is respect other people, what they have done, their vision, their efforts, their background. I learned it hard from my leaders, and I want everybody to invite this. Nothing can replace that. You can earn money, you may be successful, but if you don't get that respect or don't give respect.
Sir, tell me some apps that you can't live without.
Well, we are so used to it. So on my phone, I think 3 things. My mail, my both official and personal mail. It's like 24 hours I should have access to that. And messaging. I also use WhatsApp, because that's the way I keep connected to my teams, my peers, my customers, my partners, and also my family, because I travel a lot. And the third app, I am not more into entertainment part, so, but I'm a movie buff. So I have a movie app here, Prime Video. So whenever I travel, I'm in the plane or I'm in a hotel, the only best thing I use that app is to keep myself entertained a bit, because that helps me to relax at the end of the day.
And my last question is key for the workplace.
There's been a lot of changes in the last 1.5 years, the way we use workplaces. But one thing I kept on telling my team and people I have been part of journeys is, if you don't respect your workplace, you can't respect yourself. Workplace for any professional is like a temple. So if you go to a temple, you cannot disrespect, right? We all do that. So we be very we put if I go to Gurudwara, I have to put a turban. My ladies should put head covering, and same with temples also. Or we go to any other religious place. I believe that your workplace is your religious place. I hate people, and I've seen it a lot, but I never let my team do it. People coming in, torn jeans, slippers, and saying very coolly that we are next generation, we are Gen Z. Okay, fine, you can do all this outside, but if you are in a professional environment on your workplace, be 100%. I never let my team use these kind of things. I might be a bit fussy about it. I have never been to my office without my blazer, let me tell you, without my jacket. Never been to any meetings. It's not that wearing a jacket and tie will make you look good. It is that shows professionalism. And that I've learned from my background studying in armed forces environment, that you need to be always up. If I have an interview right now, we work from home, it should not be that I wear a t-shirt and sit in front of computer. Fine. Nobody's going to beat me for wearing a t-shirt, but I don't feel good at that. So I have to dress up, wear my good turban, set my beard, wear a nice shirt, and then be in any meeting or any interview I am doing, even if I am at home. So workplace, respect. That's the word I should use here.
So lastly, I would like to thank you for your great words and for your valuable time. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Gyaneshwari. I really love this session, and I look forward to have more interaction in future and be part of other initiatives as well. So anything you need from my side or anything, you have my email ID and phone number, please reach out. And thanks a lot for
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Thanks.
Same to you, sir.